I'm Kat.
I'm Rachel.
We are the Pandemonium.
Oh, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
I had to go lock the front door.
That's something very important, especially in your neighborhood.
Yeah, well, the neighbors moved, so I don't have to worry about the crackheads down the street. But there were 3 houses. You don't remember that?
No, I was going to say, you still kind of have to for a little while until they all realize that they've moved.
We were going on a walk the other night, and somebody pulled in, tried to open the front door. They weren't there, and then left, and I was like, oh. But I do have to tell you, I have a new recipe for bread. So I'm going to do my no-fail overnight sourdough bread. I'm going to start it after we're done recording this. Shouldn't take that long. And I'm going to make jalapeno cheddar bread. So, like, I have to make the normal bread, right? And then, what did I do? I don't know what I did. Make the normal bread. And then later, tonight, before I make everything, I add in all of the inclusions. So, while dinner's cooking, I can pre-bake everything, like pre-bake the containers. So anyways, hope you're having a great day. We've already caught up. Anything else? At the time this is coming out, it will be a week before my baby shower. And Sylvia would have already opened her gifts. So now we can talk about it.
Oh my God, finally.
So I made a bunch of bits, a bunch of burp claws. And when I say a bunch, I mean, I went and I got $70 of flannel fabric in various greens and yellows and white.
Do you want me to go get it to show them?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
I'll play some music. Do I have music? I do. Let me just... Oh no! Hurry! That's the box. I was looking for music to play, but
I had to make sure that the label with my address on it was to the back.
there you go. Safety first.
Okay, so do you want to see the thing I got Sophia? What
Yeah.
one of the things I got her? Okay. I'm gonna mute myself because bubble wrap.
I always love bubble wrap. Crunch it. Stuff like that. It's great. How much bubble wrap did you use? Jesus. That's the wooden cat that matches your minis.
It is. I did not think it was going to be this small when I got it, when I ordered it. I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger, but if she doesn't like the size of it, I will find her a different one.
I think she'll love it. I think it'll be fabulous. So all of the items I gave Sylvia are all handmade by me.
Hold on, I still have a couple of more things. So then I have this.
That is so cute.
And then little plushy blanket.
Little pumpkin.
And a little pumpkin.
I picked out that one. I picked out that one.
And now it's time for your stuff.
I got her a little Texas rubber duck. This is a Montessori bag. So all of the toys that need to be washed or anything like that can be washed in here. And they are little individual letters that are all different colors. So we have red, green, and violet. So it matches the stuff that's coming. And yellow. Forgot about the yellow. Those things literally took my blood, sweat, and tears. That was my first time making a bag like that, and I loved it. But it's a garment bag. Miniature garment bag. That is all burp claws. So, I'm just going to open it. It's going to take her a second. Because I taped it, not Joshua. When Joshua tapes gifts, he tapes an entire roll of duct tape around the box. I was like, we're not doing that to her. I love her. Please don't. I'm going to tape it. And he's like, oh, you ruined my fun. That's, yeah, letters for Sylvia, AJ, and the bean. Yes. The tiniest of jalapenos. So first we have my favorite fabric, which is the Winnie the Pooh vintage fabric. With the yellow on the hair. I defied a granny for that one. Same thing in that one. I got universal ones, so they're Halloween on one side and plaid on the other. And then I got bluey ones, so they're sage green. She was very specific. She wanted greens and yellows, non-binary colors. This one's my favorite fabric out of the whole bunch. Please. Absolutely beautiful. And then there's the same thing, but it's with the sage green color and not the olive green color. And I think that's the baby blanket. I made her two. So one was like for to go. One was for to go in the car, just a blanket as a cover if she wanted to use it as a car seat cover or just as a playmat. And then there's another blanket because every baby gets a grow with me blanket. And I'll put a picture of it, but Mimi, because I talked to people, Mimi picked out the backing and they're dragonflies, and she said they look like tiny fairies. And that was Sylvia's thing. She loved dragonflies growing up, so that's the fabric. I still love it. Out of all the quilts that I've done, I think this one's, her and Sydney's were my favorite.
I absolutely love it.
So it's already been washed and everything like that. And so she doesn't have anything to worry about when she gets it. If she still wants to wash it again, she can. Wash it, dry it, low tumble for an hour or regular tumble for an hour. That thing is practically indestructible. My husband yanks on his. A couple of threads have come out, but Rachel can tell you that man is rough with his stuff. But that is everything that we have compiled. And I think you're going to also get her some diapers too.
I think so. I'll probably wait to see what all she gets at the baby shower and then get the sizes that she doesn't get gifted.
Size 3 and size 5. Size 3 and up. People don't normally gift those. They always gift size newborns, 1s and 2s. So, yeah, do size 3 and up.
Yeah, that was my plan.
So that being said, now you all know the secret that we've been working on for months. damn it. So anyways, I had myself muted. It's not a Pandemonium podcast if something doesn't happen with the audio. So we're just gonna get right into it. I've taken my medication. She's taken her medications. We're good to go. Unfortunately, today requires a trigger warning.
This is a Pandemonium Witches podcast trigger warning. The following episode contains graphic violence and gruesome depictions. Listener discretion is advised.
This case I did right when I found out I was pregnant, and I cried for like a solid week about this case. So today we're talking about something that bothered me to my core, especially not only since this victim was Fragante, but she was in active pre-labor and dismissed from the hospital at 1 centimeter dilated. Her name was Becca K. Park. Now, Rachel saw this video months ago, last year in September. And she goes, "Oh my God, look at this. You have to look into it." I'm not going to do it because I know I'm going to be emotionally wrought, but I want you to take care of it. And I said, I can do that. I did, begrudgingly, but she needed her story heard. And there was only like one podcast that's covered her. So we are podcast number 2. Her date of birth is circa 2003. There are some discrepancies in her dates. She was 22 years old at the time of her disappearance in late 2025. She began missing in November of last year. So I think it was December when you sent it to me. And she had passed away Thanksgiving, 11/25. So she was 5'2". She weighed 140 pounds, soaking wet. So she was pretty small. She was 38 weeks pregnant at the time of her disappearance. So we're going to talk about Becca a little more before we talk about our villains in today's case. So Becca had a complicated family background, as a good chunk of us do. When she was a baby, she and 2 of her siblings, one of which was Kimberly, which you'll hear about, twisted sister later, they were removed from their biological parents, Courtney, and I couldn't find the father's name, and adopted by another family. Her adopted mother, Stephanie Park, raised them, but Becca still maintained some level of contact with her bio mom, Courtney. Becca also had 2 young boys, ages 2 and 3.5, who were being taken care of by Stephanie. She is the only mother figure she had ever considered as her mom, even though she retained communication with her bio mom. So Courtney, Becca's bio mom, was never really close to her. She never really had a connection, and sadly, she's the reason why Becca and her baby boy are no longer here. So we're going to have a second just so you can think about that. Are you good and pissed off yet?
Oh, I started off that way.
Wonderful. We love waking up with violence. Best part of waking up is violence in your cup. Something like that. So, Courtney had been on TikTok live streams since Becca's deceased body was found, acting as though she was heartbroken, and completely pinned this on her other daughter, Kimberly. Remember, his sister? Kimberly has also been arrested for providing false statements, and I think her and her other half, Rich, charges will be up soon. Finally found his name after doing 2 weeks of research, found his name. Brad is Courtney's husband, And I think he's the person who actually carried out the whole vicious ordeal. So we're going to start a month ahead of time, the beginning of the month of November. November 3rd, Becca told her mom that she had someone who was coming to get her, and Courtney was the last person to see her alive. So she went to Stephanie and she goes, "Hey, somebody's coming to get me. I'll see you later. Watch the boys." She had stated that she had seen her getting into a dark car with tinted windows outside a relative's home, South 21 and a half Road in Boon Township, about 11:30 p.m. Fun note I found. This is going to make you even more mad. On the day she disappeared, investigators said Becca received about $2,000 from a family inheritance, which detectives said could help her avoid electronic tracking. Even though they said this, friends said she had no plans to leave and she was very excited about becoming a mother again. But $2,000 is definitely a motive, but it still gives us 2,000 reasons why somebody would want to do something. So Becca told her mom that she had arranged to be picked up, but did not disclose exactly who was coming to get her. A couple of days later, on November 5th, Becca's phone is found, but not with Becca. Deputies later said that her cell phone was later discovered on a 2-track near the location where she was last seen. Now, I have no notes, and you know me, I love notes. I have pages upon pages of notes. I have nothing for almost 10 days. 10 days. So, from the time she was last seen on the 3rd to the 12th, so 11 days. No, 9 days. I can't math. Math is my strong suit, and I can't math when I'm pregnant, apparently. So, 9 days later, per an article published in the Traverse City News, ABC Z4, authorities stated that they urged the missing woman to contact them and assure her that there was no legal trouble for her leaving her children behind. A direct quote from authority is this. Are you ready? Rachel looked like she was about to punch me. So, Rebecca, the sheriff's office and people close to you are concerned about your well-being. Based on statements made by people close to you, it is possible that you are scared or hiding for reasons only known by you. We assure you that you aren't in any trouble. We have no reason to deprive you of any freedom you already excuse me. Furthermore, you are an adult. This is direct quotes, mind you, from an actual conference they had. We are only obligated to report that we have contacted you and possibly your baby and offer aid to you with whatever needs you may have. We are under no obligation to notify anyone of your whereabouts. If you see this message, please reach out to our office directly or any police, fire, or emergency medical services in your area. You may be and let them know who you are and why you need their help. The sheriff's office said investigators looked at her financial assets and there had been no activity on any of her accounts since prior to her going missing. The sheriff's office then did a search effort consisting of 36 personnel, 5 canine teams, which you and I both know have 3 people per team. So there's 2 people and the dog, which I count as a person because it's a lot of hard work, including bloodhounds, and searched the area where Becca was last seen getting into that dark sedan. Well, Wexford County Emergency Management flew the county drone as well. And at that point, no additional evidence related to Becca had been located. That same day, deputies cleared Becca's friends to organize their own searches, provided they remain within legal boundaries. When asked, Paige Knoll, a friend of Becca's, said, "Not as far as I know on housing, but I know that her and Richie were talking about getting married, and they were trying to figure out how to get that goal achieved along with buying a new house." Amber Babcock, another friend of Becca's, recounted the last time she saw her, telling reporters, "Sunday night, we were dropping off the truck and she was screaming, 'I'm in labor, I'm in labor.' She helped me move all weekend long, and I ended up seeing her going into labor, going to the Cadillac hospital. Her last phone call, Babcock call, brain. Anyways, her last phone call was to her mom, Courtney. She said, 'Don't let her get into a vehicle. I'm on my way.' And from then on, she got into a van with Kimmy and Courtney and left. I haven't heard from her since." Who's Kimmy and Courtney, Rachel?
Not a clue.
Really? Because I said in the beginning that Courtney was her biological mother, and Kimmy, good old Kimberly, is Twisted sister, her biological sister.
Listen, I zoned out for a moment, okay?
You are not paying attention to me.
I'm sorry, I'm staring at a kitten so that way I don't let rage erupt.
It's fine. You can look at my pretty face too.
I am.
Great. Focus. Okay, so now that Rachel's caught up, I know everybody else is listening and they're like, "God, Rachel." So the morning of November 13th, it was announced that volunteers would gather Friday at 10 a.m. at Mayher parking lot in Cadillac before heading to Boon Township, where Rebecca was last seen entering the dark colored vehicle. Mind you, this is all in Michigan. I had to look up what MI meant. Michigan. Cadillac, Michigan. November. Do you know when it starts to snow in Michigan?
October.
October. It's already halfway through November. It's almost Thanksgiving. Leslie let me know around that time that there was some significant snowfall. And so did my cousin, who happens to live in Michigan. So, participants who came to help search were encouraged to dress for the weather, appropriate wise, and bring equipment like drones, horses, and off road vehicles to aid investigators in their search. Every little bit helps, they said. So, Jody, the search organizer, stated, quote, "I have a lot of people who are concerned citizens who want to help. She was loved by so many people and they just want to help. They want to help find her, and people didn't know her. And the people that did know her, all of them want to find her. People are just very concerned at this point and want to help." So then again, nothing for a few days, right? I'm getting everything straight from the source out there. Okay. So nothing happens until the 19th of November. Another coordinated search takes effect in Cadillac on Friday, and they search for Becca and her unborn son. Dozens of volunteers checked in at 10 a.m. before heading to the search area at West 26th Road and South 21st and a half Road, which organizers believed needed another thorough sweep. They lined up at arm's length apart, working in a tight formation to ensure no patch of ground went unchecked. Because mind you, at this point, it had been 16 days since she'd gone missing. Off-road vehicles and search dogs helped widen the grid, giving crews more reach throughout the wooded terrain. The Clandestine Investigative Authority, a personal search group from Clare County, also came to aid in the search and assist with the group. The Wexford County Sheriff's Office did not participate in that search on the 19th, but stated they've already conducted a thorough search of all the areas where Rebecca was last seen. This comes into play later. But wait, there's more.
There's always more with you.
You know, that's not a problem normally, 90% of the time.
Except for when it comes to topics like these.
So we're going to be talking about this dude next. All right.
I'm going to quickly minimize that because I don't want him staring at me.
That is Brad, her stepfather. On 11/23, he failed his polygraph test, which is not admissible in court because we talked about this on several podcasts already. You can fail a polygraph test and pass a polygraph test. Oh my God. Doesn't mean you're telling the truth or lying. So at 11:25, Becca had been missing since November 3rd. So she had been gone for 22 days. Well, on this day, not only was she found deceased by a search party, not the police, a search party. She was found deceased in the middle of a forest without the baby. Yep. So she was found at 2:15 p.m. In a press conference that night, the Wexford County Sheriff's Office and the Michigan State Police confirmed that her body, or a body rather, was indeed found in the Manistee National Forest in Boon Township, and that the body was the body of one that resembled Rebecca Hart. But they cannot confirm that it's her until an autopsy was completed because, of course, science. She was reportedly about 15 feet off the road and appeared to have been dragged to her location. The same night that her body was found, her fiancé, Richard Lee Fowler, was arrested at 9 p.m. and taken directly to jail. My note says, do not collect Methany Lopez. Methany Lopez is the name I have given anybody who looks like this.
That makes sense.
Why? Just why?
Why does it make sense, or just why in general?
The latter. Why in general? So,
I couldn't tell you.
Richard Lee Fowler is the first picture I sent you. Okay. I haven't gotten to the steppapa yet. We'll get there in a minute. So, Kimberly, good old twisted sister. We talked about her. I have no nicknames for this episode because that's how angry I was doing research. No nicknames could be found. None. It's fine. So, Kimberly, her bio sister, was arrested around 1 a.m. on 11/26, November 26, following her fiance's arrest the previous night. So, of course, that same day, Dick and Kimmy were put before a judge, and let's start with good old Dick. All right. So he's facing a potential life sentence after being charged with 2 counts of delivering methamphetamines. Hence, Methany Lopez. Good old Methany. So now here's the worst part. Mind you, her death is not the worst part. Baby missing is not the worst part. This is the worst part. Out of this whole thing, he is a habitual offender with three previous attempted or completed felonies, which means his charges could lead to a life sentence, if not death. At his arraignment, the judge called Dick a threat to the community as well as a flight risk, prompting him to get a high bond. Do you want to know how much?
Couple million, hopefully.
But yeah, this is going to make you mad. Dick was held in jail on a $1 million cash bond. One.
I mean, at least it was still in the millions, so I mean, I'll accept it.
But that's a house. That's a house. So if released on bond, he would have been placed on GPS house arrest. But what about twisted sister Kimberly? Well, good old Kim is being held on a $750,000 cash bond. Or was, anyways. So, good old Twisted Sister was charged with 3 counts, including tampering with evidence in a criminal case, lying to a cop during a violent crime investigation, and filing a false police report of a felony. So, the first count, tampering with the evidence, is a felony punishable by 10 years in prison or $20,000, which is a fine. Second count, lying to a cop, is punishable by 4 years in prison and a $5,000 fine or $5,000 fine. The third count, filing a false police report of a felony, is a misdemeanor punishable by 4 years in prison and or a $2,000 fine. The judge also stated that she was a flight risk and called for a high cash bond. And if she posted bond, it would be ordered for GPS house arrest for her as well. But prosecutors stated that Rebecca's biomother, Courtney Bartholomew, and stepmother, Brad Bartholomew, deep breath, tortured, unalived her, and forcibly removed the baby from her stomach.
Which means they slit her open end to end.
Now you can see why I was so angry doing this.
Yes, I do. Death to them both.
Well, they're alleging that this led to the deaths of both Rebecca and her unborn child. Yes, they are facing charges connected to the baby's death, along with murder and torture charges for Becca. They've also been hit with pregnancy-related assault charges that legally cover the unaliving of her unborn child. But where's the baby?
I mean, the baby had to go somewhere, so dropped it off at a safe house or something? Or did the foster mother have it? Stepmom, whatever.
Well, police at that time, when I was doing the research in January, had not publicly confirmed finding the baby's body, whether it be alive or dead. And they haven't released location, condition, or any forensic details of said baby. But that doesn't mean that the baby is alive. Prosecutors would not file homicide-related charges unless they had strong evidence that the baby was unalived. Could investigators already have the baby's remains and keep it private? Yes, because it is possible, as it was an open homicide investigation, especially sensitive ones. Authorities would often withhold details to protect the case. What I found out later was that the baby did not survive the removal. And that in open court, Courtney and Brad both claimed that the infant never took a breath nor cried. They then later stated that they placed the baby's body inside a blue lunch cooler and disposed of it in a nearby trash can. Can't say that.
Okay, so just bleep me out then.
I can do that. So as of February, the baby's body still has not been located, and they don't think they will ever find the baby's body.
Because it most likely went to a landfill and is buried.
So we're going to take a second to process that. Do you need a break?
No, I'm okay. I mean, as okay as I'm going to be.
After this, I'm going to go abuse some dough, and I'm going to make some jalapeno cheddar bread. I got to make sure I wear some gloves because ain't nothing getting on my hands.
Yeah, because don't want to touch it and then touch face or have to go potty like you do a million times. No spiciness goes anywhere else.
Happened one time I touched my face. I broke out in hives. Anyways, December 2nd, Courtney and Brad finally appear in court. Each of them faced 8 felony charges, each, including first-degree murder, torture, and assault of a pregnant individual, which, great, I'm glad. However, the fact that it happened. These charges came after weeks of Courtney's biological daughter, Becca, was last seen getting into a dark-colored vehicle outside a relative's home the night she went missing. The car was Courtney's. According to prosecutor Joanna Carey, Courtney and Brad brought Rebecca to their home, forced her into another vehicle, and drove her into the woods, carried out severely violent acts that resulted in both of her unaliving as well as the one of her unborn child. Carey urged the judge to deny bond, stating that the nature of the case left, quote, no circumstances under which the defendants should be released, end quote. So the judge finally agreed. So the bond was removed, and this was before trial started. This was right before they're getting everything done. So the third, I need to show you this photo first. So that is right outside the county jail. Take a good look at that. Party possums, investigate this photo. Take a good look. That is Rich and Kimberly out of jail, walking around because both of them were released from jail. Meanwhile, Rebecca's newborn baby boy was still missing and is still missing. And it was at this time unconfirmed whether or not if they'll ever find the baby boy. Courtney, however, had her court hearing on the 3rd. She was back in court that morning, and here's exactly what happened. The judge kept her bond in place and reminded her of strict conditions. The prosecutor highlighted major inconsistencies in Courtney's statements. The defense claimed that she is, quote, cooperating and asked for more time as evidence come in. What? No! So no new charges were added that day, but the judge made it clear this case is far from over and there's more evidence that needs to be seen. The tension in the courtroom was undeniable, and everyone was aware that the newborn baby was still missing, and that the timelines from everybody involved, nothing matched. So Courtney left the court with no restrictions and no charges. And more updates were supposed to be said at the next hearing. But to see Rich and Kimmy out free after the night they were arrested following finding Rebecca's body out in the woods, the community was completely stunned. 3 people connected to Rebecca, 3 conflicting stories, 1 unalived mother, 1 missing newborn. And law enforcement continued to say that details are extremely limited. I get it, it's an open investigation, but the public wanted answers. Rebecca Park deserved justice, and her baby deserved to come home alive. So, same day, Brad Bartholomew got his charges. Would you like to know what he got charged with?
Hopefully accomplished some murder.
Son of a biscuit monkey. Okay, so the first count was commit offensive homicide murder in the first degree, premeditated. Count 2 was alleged committed the offense of homicide felony murder, punishable for life, and DNA taken upon arrest. Count 3 was alleged committed offense of torture, which is punishable to life. Count 4, alleged committed offense to conspiracy to get torture up to life and $10,000. Count 5, alleged committed offense of assault of a pregnant individual or potentially causing a miscarriage or stillbirth, punishable to life. Count 6, committed offensive conspiracy to commit assault from an individual intentionally causing miscarriage or stillbirth, chronicled by life or time of years and or $10,000. Count 7, allege committed the offense of unlawful imprisonment up to 15 years or a fine of $20,000. Count 8, committed offense of dead bodies, removing without medical examiner permission, misdemeanor of up to 1 year or $500. Judge Corey Wiggins said Brad is a fourth offender and will be held without bond. So then Courtney got her charges finally. Hers was literally the same amount of charge. Literally the same charge. So then Corey Wiggins, Judge Corey, said she will be held without bond. So here is the latest status as of 2026. Courtney Bartholomew and Brad Bartholomew have been charged with first-degree murder, felony murder, torture, unlawful imprisonment, assault on a pregnant person, conspiracy, and related offense in Rebecca Park's death, and a judge denied bond for both. Court appearances that were originally scheduled for early December were postponed and rescheduled for January 13th of 26. That means no trial has happened yet and no convictions or sentencing has occurred. January 13th, the next scheduled court appearance for the Bartholomews. Pre-trial proceedings did start. Discovery, hearings, pretrial motions that will all take place before trial begins. If the Bartholomews have pled guilty, a trial date will be set, but not until months later. However, as of 23 hours ago, currently, it's the middle of February, March 6th, will be the preliminary hearing for the suspects in her unaliving case. They have a scheduled preliminary hearing scheduled for 2 p.m. And hold on. Prosecutors are able to show probable cause and that there is a reasonable bias to believe that this crime was committed by them. So, that being said, the baby still has not been found. And Rebecca's family did have a nice service for her. But as of today, that is the case of Rebecca Park. It was popping up all over TikTok, all over Facebook, because she was very socially oriented and she was always online. So the fact that she just went and disappeared without a trace. Yeah. And I'm sorry about today.
No, you're not. Don't lie to us. But
I'm a little sorry.
I'll accept it.
I'm sorry it happened to her.
No, I wasn't even talking about that. But yes, I'm sorry it happened to her too. You're not sorry about presenting the case to us.
No, not in the least. It should be talked about more, that there's a lot of people saying, in CSI and Law and Order and all those other shows, they're like, it's the spouse. Yes. However, in most cases, when it comes to pregnant individuals, the immediate family is the first person you need to look at.
And that includes spouse, siblings, parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, cousins. Their immediate circle needs to come under the magnifying glass.
And unfortunately, it was too little too late, because, they were originally thinking that it was one person and it wasn't. But like I said, guys, this is still an open and an active investigation. It's going to court now. So when this coming out, April 10th. So it'll be a month after the case. So hopefully we'll be able to record another episode, fingers crossed, with the actual what happens, whether or not
with an update at least.
Which I have to come up with a new update sound because we can't use the same sounds as last season. But I mean, because I found out when we moved over to YouTube, they're all copyright, so can't use it. But it's okay. I'll figure something out, just like I did for Serotonin Saturdays and all those other sounds that you guys like. I promise next week will be a better episode. I'm not going to tell you guys what it is, but there is a little fun thing that we're going to do. Not for next week. We can't do that. We can't do that, Rachel. So she'll find something that's not as gross or not as triggering as this episode was.
No promises.
Who
We do
did?
true crime. So, I mean, listen.
That's fair. Don't forget to send us your favorite gossip so we can discuss it for Serotonin Saturdays at the end of the month. If you want to send it, it's tpw3mpodcast@gmail.com, or you can send it to our Instagram or to our Facebook page, which we do have access to every day, all day, and we will try to respond as quickly as we can.
24 hours a day, because she handles the day, I handle the nights. Which
true.
Sounds really wrong now that I think about it.
Well, soon we won't be doing that. Soon you'll be on the same schedule as me.
I mean, for the most part, it's like I'll still be up till like 1 a.m. But then again, at that point, you'll have the baby, and you'll be up all hours of the night too.
Yay! Yay! Great success. Speaking of which, we do have 2 new subscribers to our YouTube. So please welcome Alicia and Julius. I don't think that's their real names, but you know what? Whatever. We also have on our Instagram, we have 118 followers. We have 79 followers on our Facebook page. We are so close to 100, guys. As soon as we get to 100, we're going to be going through those followers and doing a raffle, and we're going to get you a goodie made by yours truly, because I have a Cricut. Besides the point, we like to be frugal here on the podcast because your girl don't work. But that being said, I hope that you enjoyed but didn't enjoy today's case.
Always.
Stay feral.
Bite the hand.
And we'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye. Okay, bye.
Well, party possums, that's today's dose of the Pandemonium. Thanks for listening and watching the ADHD chaos. Review, comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Tune in next week for more continued madness. And as always, stay feral.